Can you see it? I'm live. Hi. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Cheapskates show. I have to turn this down. Sorry, I'm looking at myself and it's going to throw me right off. You think I'd be aware of that by now, but sometimes I'm not. Tonight, I'm going to teach you to just say no. It doesn't hurt to say no occasionally. It doesn't hurt to say no often. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're tired, if you're stressed, if your finances won't match what the task is, just say no. Now, I'm a bit of a slow learner, as some of you are well aware, so it took me a long time to learn to just say no. A very wise woman told me to just say no. She's just say no. Next time they ask you to do something, just say no. At the time, I had 3 little kids. They were all in primary school. We were involved in school. We were involved in church. We were involved in train club. Life was hectic in our house. And I was getting overwhelmed. It seemed that between home and school, school board, church youth groups, church itself, all the other things I had to do, plus looking after cheapskates and trying to raise a family, that I was sinking faster than I was ever going to be able to hold my head above the water. I was just going to sink. And so Mrs. Mack said to me, just say no. Next time someone asks you to do something and you can't do it, just say no. Now, it's a magic word. You might remember, if you've got babies, if you've had babies, you may remember back to their first word was probably dad, 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 then mum, 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 and then no. Seemed to be the next word they all learn is no. So if a baby can say no, we grown-ups can learn to say no. Next time someone comes to you and says, can you help out at school with reading tomorrow because I'm really busy and I can't do it, and you've already made plans, don't feel bad about saying no, just say no. Don't say, oh no, I'm sorry, I can't, because that will give them an opening to come back with a reason why you can put off your plans and do their job for them. Just say no. Practice with me. Everybody now say no. 1, 2, 3. No. Have we all got it? It's easy. It's not a difficult word to say. Just say no. Now, you may well be wondering how this affects your finances. Learning to say no is a really big deal when it comes to managing our money. We are tempted at all directions, from all sides, to spend and to do nothing but spend, and to not only spend the money we have, but to spend the money we don't have. We're tempted to put it on credit. We're tempted to use Zip Pay, Afterpay, whatever it's called now. We're tempted to take out loans, get a bigger mortgage than what we can really afford. We are encouraged to spend, and we need to learn to say no. If you don't have the money in your purse to go for coffee with the other mums at school, just say no. When they invite you along, say, no, sorry, no. Don't give them an excuse. Don't give them a reason. Just say no. Now, you could be nice and say, why don't you all come back to my place? It's much cozier. It's more comfortable. We can talk longer. We can make coffee the way we like it, yada, yada, yada. If you feel that way inclined, do it. That's what I used to do. But if you don't have that money, don't feel guilty about saying no. Just say no. And you don't need to give them an excuse. Next time someone knocks on the door and asks for a donation, if you don't have the money to give that donation, just say no. We say no all the time. Firstly, not because I'm mean, but because we have a budget that we stick to. We give to a number of charities through different means. Some of them through our church, Some of them we give privately, but we support a few different charities. And so I don't have the money to give to another charity. I just say no, thank you. And that's it. You don't need to be rude. You don't need to be abrupt. You don't need to give them a lecture. Just say no, thank you, and close the door or hang up the phone. The phone calls are the worst, aren't they? Usually at tea time. You can go on the do not call register, although charities still are able to call you. But anyway, just say no. When the salesman tries to upsell you and you know you can't afford it, just say no. It might be that you are buying a new fridge and they want you to take the extended warranty for 5 years and it's only going to be another $380. Just say no. Even when he says, but what happens if the fridge breaks down in 4 years? Well, the fridge breaks down in 4 years because, quite frankly, white goods are cheap. They are not expensive. We bought our fridge for under $1,200 and it's a big fridge. And it holds all the food for 5 of us. It's a big fridge. If it had broken down in 4 years, then we would have just gone and bought another fridge, or, being the cheapskates that we are, Wayne would have had a look at it, seen if it was something he was able to fix. If he wasn't, he'd have hunted around and asked a refrigeration repairman to come and have a look at it and see if it could be fixed for less than buying a replacement. But we didn't have the money to buy the extended warranty when we bought the fridge, so we just said no. And we say no often to things like that. So if it's an upsell that you can't afford, that you haven't budgeted for, that you don't have the money to pay for, just say no. How are we going, Han?
Good. Okay.
She's going to give me a great list now.
Julian Rod, say hello.
Hi, Julian Rod.
Narelle Williams says hello.
Hi, Narelle. Nice to see you here.
Maureen says hello.
Hi, Maureen.
Emma says hello.
And Emma.
Susan says hello.
And Susan. Wow.
Carol says hello.
Carol, is that our Carol Goody?
Yes.
Hi, Carol, all the way from Tassie. Yay.
Danielle says hello.
Hi, Danielle.
Barbara says hello.
Hi, Barb.
Diana says hello.
Diana, wow.
Karen says hello.
Karen, is that Karen E? Karen Erickson?
Carol T.
Carol T. Oh, sorry, wrong person. Sorry, Carol. Hi.
Karen T as well.
Karen T, okay. Okay, wow, that's quite a few. Are you all practicing saying no? Are you all getting ready to say no? Because saying no also extends to our family. It's really hard to say no to family. When, the aunties and uncles ring up and say it's Junior's birthday and we're all going out for tea and you don't have that in your budget, you've budgeted for his birthday card and his present, but you haven't budgeted for going out for tea as well, just say, no, can I drop his gift around before you go? Easy. You don't need to give an excuse. Giving an excuse gives them a chance to browbeat you into saying yes, which is what they want. They want you to say yes for whatever reason. You can't afford it. You don't want to do it. You're too tired. You're too stressed. You're too busy. You don't have the money. You just want to go to bed, put the pillow over your head and sleep. Just say no. It's an easy thing to do. It does take practice, though, especially for the emotional things in life, like the niece or nephew's birthday party, or going out for dinner, and then instead of everyone paying their own share, they decide to split the bill. Well, when we go out for dinner, which is really rarely, if we go with other people, I like to pay our own share because we don't have entrees and we don't drink alcohol and we rarely have 2 desserts. If we have dessert, we'll share it between us. So our portion of the bill is often a lot less. So unless they're prepared to do that, we just say no and we don't go. Instead, we may invite them back here for a barbecue. We may invite them back here for a roast. We may decide to go on a picnic somewhere. But we don't do anything these days that forces us to spend money we don't have, because it's not good for our emotional well-being, but it's not good for our financial well-being either. And in the end, those two things, when they cause stress, are not good for our physical well-being. I want to be a happy wife and a happy mum. So I don't want to be worrying all the time about what I've got to do because I haven't said no, and how much it's all going to cost because I haven't said no. I want to be happy and contented so I can look after my husband and my family and my home. And so I had to learn to say no. If you're struggling with saying no for anything, practice, 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 practice makes perfect. It takes 21 days to form a habit, or 21 repeats to form a habit. So think of it this way, before saying no automatically becomes a habit for you, you need to do it 21 times. So over the next 3 weeks or the next 4 weeks, whenever someone asks you to do something that you don't want to do, unless it's your boss, in which case you have to, that you can't afford to do, that you don't have the time to do, just say no and walk away. Smile politely and walk away. Leave it. That's the end of the conversation. Don't keep it going. Don't say no because I'm busy that night, because they'll come back with another night. Don't say no, I can't afford it. They'll go, oh, put it on the credit card. Don't worry about it. It's only going to be X amount of dollars. X amount of dollars is fine if you've got it. But if you don't have it, where are you going to find it? So just say no. I need a drink. Sorry, folks. Whoops. How are we going? Any questions?
Not yet.
No questions. Everybody knows how to say no. You all know that it's going to be good for you to say no. I still struggle with it sometimes and still find myself doing things I don't really want to do because I just haven't said no. But for the most part, I can say no with confidence because it's the best thing for me and the best thing for my family. There's been a lot of Facebook interest the last few weeks about taking care of yourself. Learning to say no is a part of taking care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of your family, you can't take care of your home, you can't do your job properly. So you need to take care of yourself. You need to learn to say no. If it's not working for you, you say no. It's as simple as that. Is that easy? Do you all understand? There's no hesitation. Just say no. It's, like I said, a really easy little word to use. Anyone can do it, even a baby. It's the third word usually that they learn. And believe me, they learn to say it with emphasis. No. I've heard those little tackers. I had 3 of them. No. They could spit it out really quickly. So we don't have to do that. We're grown-ups. We can be nice about it, but we can still just say no. All right, now I'm just going to take a peek and see. Freya, yes, it is such a satisfying thing to say no for the right reasons and to know that you're doing the best thing for you and your family. Hi, Priya. I heard that, Barb. That was a wonderful no. Came through loud and clear. Michelle, I don't have a problem. We're on the Do Not Call register. We still get charities and political calls. They nearly drove me nuts for a while there about 6 weeks ago. We were getting them all the time. And in the end, I just kept blocking the number and blocking the number and blocking the number. And I realised that the send number is auto-generated anyway. But it was so satisfying to just block it. I didn't answer them. We have a rule, and I especially have a rule. If I don't recognise the number or it doesn't come up in my address book, shows on my phone, then I don't answer it. If it's someone important, they leave a message. If they don't leave a message, I know it's either a call centre or a spam call, junk call, and I ignore them. Practice, Emma. Practice makes perfect. Just keep saying no. Next time someone asks you to buy lunch, go out for lunch, just say no. Invite them home to your house or make a deal with them. A friend and I, woman I worked with before we were married, I was saving to get married, and they were saving to do renovations on their house. So we came up with a deal. I took lunch for the two of us one day, and she brought lunch for the two of us the next day, because until then we'd been walking down the street, mainly to get out of the office, but going down the street and buying a sandwich. Now, even back in those days, it was costing about $6 a day, and that adds up to quite a bit of money over time. So we decided we'd take it in turns, doing lunch for each other, and it was really good. Dorothy was the best cook, and she would come with these amazing lunches. I'd get my mum to do it for me because I'm not a good cook and I had no imagination when it came to lunches in those days. But Dottie had the best lunches, and we'd have really nice things, and it saved us a fortune, but it meant that it was already prepared. We only had to do lunch every second day, and we could go take our lunch and go and sit. There was a park across the road, directly across the road from where we worked. So we could go and sit in the park under the trees and eat our lunch in peace for the half an hour. And it was brilliant. It worked out really well. If that's an option for you, rather than saying no outright, that might work for other things too, not just for lunches at work, but for morning teas at playgroup, or coffee with the school mums, or Macca's after kids basketball, or, you know, after football. I know I drive past, when I go to pick Hannah up sometimes of an evening if she's worked late, and we drive past McDonald's, and it is absolutely chockers full of kids in basketball uniforms, sports uniforms, and just packed there. And I'm thinking, wow, how much money, every time I think, how much money is that McDonald's store raking in just because mums don't say no, we'll have dinner at home. You know, it's an easy thing to do. Barb wants to know, how do you know? Barb, it's not the amount you spend on the gift. Okay. I think it's not the amount you spend on the gift, but rather the thought you put into it. Now, I absolutely love that bookmark you sent me. I haven't got it here. I'd show everyone. Barb sent me at Christmas time the most beautiful bookmark, a metal bookmark in the shape of a teaspoon. I have no idea how much it cost, and I hope it wasn't a lot, Barb. But it hit the nail on the head. I love to read, and it was just the perfect gift for me. It was just beautiful. So she put a lot of thought into that, to making that gift right for me, and it was perfect. I love it, and I use it all the time. So with your family, think about what they like. What do they do? Are there things that you are able to make that they love but don't make for themselves? Or are there treats that they love that they don't get for themselves, but you could perhaps pick them up throughout the year when they're on sale, when they're on half price? You know, I used to put iTunes vouchers in the kids' Christmas stockings, so I'd wait till they were half price and buy them then. It gave them a $30 iTunes voucher, but it only cost me $15. It meant I could afford it to put in their stocking, and they were happy with the double value. Did that work?
Yeah.
And you never knew I bought it for half price?
Oh, I did, because I was with you.
Yeah. Did you hear that? She did know, because she was with me. So, Julie wishes she could say no to chocolate. Why? You don't need to say no to chocolate. Chocolate is good. It's been scientifically proven. Chocolate is good for you. It's a mood lifter. Enjoy chocolate. Don't overindulge if you don't, you know, but enjoy it when you can. And Barb, don't feel guilty that it's one of you and four of them. Again, it's not the cost of the gift that matters. And if people are looking at the gift for the value of the gift in dollar terms, and not the value of the gift for the reason it's being given, then perhaps they're looking at it the wrong way. I'm not saying that you shouldn't spend money on gifts, and I'm not saying that you shouldn't put thought into them, but a thoughtful gift that, you know, if your gift budget's $10 and you find the perfect gift for $5, then you buy that gift and you shift that $5 into your slush fund, the remaining $5 out of the $10 budget into your slush fund. You don't need to spend the rest of that money to bulk it up. You've already got a gift that's worth your budgeted amount, and you found it. It's the perfect gift. McDonald's, Christine, yes, McDonald's is very expensive. Hi, Catherine. We tried the Coles burger sauce and we didn't like it.
That's when it first came out. They've redone it since then.
Oh, Hannah tells me they've redone it since then, but it obviously hasn't been on sale, so I haven't seen it to try. But I make my own version of burger sauce that we actually sort of prefer on our burgers. So it's really cheap, really quick, really easy. We all like it. Keeps well in the fridge if I make too much. So, yeah. Oh, husbands, partners can be difficult because, yes, they do work hard. They work hard because they love us and they want to care for us. They want us to have nice homes, nice things, nice lifestyle. And saying no can be tricky. But the money's only going to go so far. And I know when I point out to Wayne that if we do such and such, if we go away in November for the 2 weeks on the trip that he's looking at, it's going to cost us X amount of dollars, plus use up 2 weeks of our annual leave. Will we get enough enjoyment out of it to make that worthwhile, or are we just going because everyone else is going? This is a classic case of we just need to decide, do we really want to do it? Can we really afford the money and the time? And if we can't, we just say no. It's hard to say no to someone you love, be it a husband, a child, you know, but you have to do it. Classic example, I've been working with a family over northern suburbs of Melbourne, and they are in dire straits. They're absolutely in dire straits. But they have 5 children, no money, huge mortgage, lots of consumer debt, lots of unpaid bills, all sorts of things going wrong. And yet, when I pointed out that going back to school, the kids could have worn last year's school shoes because they still fit, I was told, oh, but they wouldn't because the other kids would have new shoes. So she went out and she bought 5 pairs of new school shoes. They had perfectly good school shoes to wear. The kids said, no, we won't. The kids flatly refused to wear them. I said, no. This is where I gently pointed out that she was the mother, she was the parent, they were her children. She got to make the decisions about the school shoes, not them. And if they wanted the older 2 old enough to earn the money to buy their own school shoes, if they really wanted them, they could have done jobs around the place and around the neighbourhood to earn some money, but they wouldn't do it. So I would have just gone, too bad, tough luck. There's a shoe polish, there's the shoes, clean them up and wear them. But she wouldn't do it. And so, you know, $300 later, because they weren't cheap school shoes either, $300 later, they're deeper in debt and she's more stressed and the marriage is under more strain and the kids weren't really any happier and they certainly weren't appreciative of it. So it's a hard thing to do, to say no to children and husbands and children. But you have to be the adult and you have to be the responsible person and say no in that case. Christine, do you know, I was polishing our front doorstep. I don't know if anyone else does this. Our front doorstep is timber, obviously, and it's stained, but it gets scuffed. So every now and then I get the boot polish out, the tan boot polish out, and get down on my hands and knees and give it a polish. And it always makes me feel so good until someone walks on it and leaves a mark. But it looks so nice. And I remembered my mum did the front and back doors every Friday. The doorsteps were polished every Friday. Now, I don't do it every Friday. I only do it when it starts to look a bit shabby. But boot polish covers up a multitude of sins, not just on doorsteps, but on shoes and boots. We taught our kids from when they started school that when they come home, school shoes came off and they had to be polished. They had to be polished every night. In winter, if they were wet, they were put by the fire to dry and then polished before bed, so they'd last. It keeps the leather soft and supple and or whatever it's supposed to do and protects it. And the shoes last longer. Very important when you've got 3 kids and, you know, a tight budget, and school shoes are expensive. So, yeah. Karen T, yes. Oh, Hannah's already put it up. Or go to our channel, go to the Cheapskates Club channel, and all our videos, all our past videos are there. You'll find them all there. And Diana's still practicing no. Well done. Where are we? Sorry. Okay. So there we go. Ah, okay. Julie says it's not showing on IE.
Sometimes Internet Explorer doesn't have the correct software system stuff to support certain websites.
Oh, okay.
So that could be why.
All right. Okay. Thank you. I'll look into that, Julie, and see what I can do. Okay. Now,
the little drawers, they're from Kmart. Behind you.
The little pink drawers?
I think that's the one I can see.
Are they the ones?
Yes.
Those little pink drawers? Yeah, they're from Kmart.
$9 in the kids' storage section.
$9 in the kids' storage section. There you go. We're using them to store craft stuff. They're really cute, aren't they? They're so pretty. Oh, the bottles. I spoke on Thursday. I mentioned I was going to show you some preserving jars. These 2 are from Kmart. It's that time of year. Preserving gardens are full of tomatoes and cucumbers and zucchinis and strawberries and beans and peas and things that all need to be made into jam or relish or pickles or chutneys or sauces. When we were in Kmart the other day, we found these jars, and they're Kmart brand, so & Co., which is the Kmart, sorry, can't see them. Going to drop them. The Kmart brand, but they're proper preserving jars. So really nice jars, and the lids, the light's going to get it, but the lid's got a proper rubber seal in there so that they can be hot water bathed and seal perfectly. And they're really good. And the pop button, these are the pop ones. So as it seals, the pop sucks in, and when you go to release it, it will pop open to release the vacuum. They come in 4 sizes. Yep. So these are 120 ml. Now these little ones are perfect for little jams, little chutneys, little pickles, for gift hampers. Nice size. Then they come in 330 ml, 500, 550, and the 1,000, the litre. So the big jars, which are perfect for pasta sauces and things like that.
Oh, so that's $6.
And they're all $6. Now, you get 8 little ones, depending on the size of the jar. It can be anything from 8 to 4 in the pack, 3 in the pack. 3 of the 1 litre ones in the pack for $6. But they're a great price. And best of all, with these jars, the lids can be reused as long as that rubber inside is intact and in good condition. But if it's not and you have to throw it away, you can actually go online and buy replacement lids. So they're really handy to have. And I was just thinking on Thursday when we were talking about it, that I've been doing pickles and things like that and running out of jars, and they are great value. I was going to say something else about the jars in and gone anyway. Narelle, Kmart have online ordering. Check your postage on it though. Sometimes, I was going to say, sometimes the postage doesn't make it worthwhile buying online. We don't have Cheapest Chips here anymore. What a shame. It was one of our favourite shops. I loved it. Reject Shop, again, look for jars at the Reject Shop, but check the glass. It needs to be nice and thick, and the rubber ring inside the lid needs to be all the way around and at least 6 mil wide, so about 1/4 of an inch wide all the way around the inside of the lid, so it forms a really good seal. Now, what else? No more questions? Someone asked a question about last week or the week before. Sorry, Hannah's rolling her eyes at me. About craft supplies. Was it Jody asked about craft supplies? Where to find craft supplies? Absolutely anywhere, and not just at craft shops. Craft supplies, we have here in Melbourne, we have a store called Arthur Daly's. It's in Ferntree Gully. It's a huge, junky, jumbled up mishmash of all sorts of things, but they have a really good craft section. Riot Art and Craft are often good on their sales. Don't ever pay full price at Riot. It's grossly expensive. Reject Shop, $2 shops. We get most of our craft materials from $2 shops, that sort of thing. Arthur Daly's on a good sale day. Kaiser Craft, if you like paper crafts like scrapbooking, card making, flower making, that sort of thing. Kaiser Craft often have really good sales, both in-store and online. Op shops.
Cheapest Chips.
Cheapest Chips. We don't have one anymore, but yeah, Cheapest Chips. All those sorts of things. Op shops can be an absolute goldmine for craft materials, yarns, embroidery threads, laces, knitting needles, patterns, dressmaking patterns, knitting patterns, crochet patterns, and best of all, they're often the vintage ones that are really in vogue, on trend right now, and so expensive if you buy them new. Just gorgeous, and you can get them for 20, 25 cents, 30 cents a book. Why would you pay full price for them new? And they're gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful things. Baskets for putting bits and pieces in are great value at op shops, all that sort of thing. So don't think just craft shops. Oh, fabrics. Now, we use curtains. I use old curtains, net curtains, to make veggie bags. I'm always on the lookout for pretty sheets and doona covers, because they make lovely tablecloths, beautiful tea towels, lovely serviettes, placemats, handkerchiefs, things like that. They don't have to be just used for the purpose that they're labelled at. You can do all those sorts of things. Garage sales, buy, swap, sell pages. Thanks, Barb. Karen T likes Arthur Daly. Yep. Yeah, you do need to know your prices. And we have noticed last time we were there, he was getting up a bit with the card making gems and things, but his yarn, the wool, the yarns and cottons and things were really cheap. So there you go. Garage sales. Yes. Look, don't be afraid to, depending on what you like. If you're a cross stitcher or you do tapestry, look for unfinished projects at garage sales and trash and treasure markets, school school fetes at the White Elephant stall, that sort of thing. You'll pick them up for just, you know, $1 or $2, and some of those patterns can be absolutely $30, $40, $50, $60 to buy new. So it's well worth taking a look at them if you like that sort of thing. Oh, Priya wants to know if it's okay to bargain at Garrett. Why not? I always figure, yeah, I haggle. I always figure that the person wants to get rid of whatever they're selling and I want to buy it. So we should be able to come to a happy medium with the price. And usually you can, depending on what it is, of course. If it's really brand new designer label, fantastically expensive stuff, well, they shouldn't be selling at a garage sale anyway. But they probably won't. But most of the time, they're happy to. Or if you say, look, if I buy this, 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 and this, can I have it for X? Can I have them for X amount of dollars? Most of the time, they're happy to just get rid of the stuff and get the money for it. So why not? Haggle away. Yes, Christine, I sew. Is it cost effective anymore? It depends what you're making and how you make it. To buy brand new fabrics and new patterns is very expensive. But like I said, if you hunt around, you can often find patterns for, you know, 25, 30, 50 cents at op shops. And fabric, again, it depends. I went a bit stir crazy, spare fabric crazy at Spotlight and Lincraft on the Boxing Day sales, or actually on Boxing Day, but more at Spotlight because they had 80% off all Christmas fabrics, and then everything else was 50% off. And some of those fabrics were just beautiful. So I did buy quite a few lengths to make all sorts of things, and they're in the box at my feet actually at the moment, all in layers. I was looking at them today going, yes, that's that, that's that, that's that. So I guess if you're a confident seamstress or dressmaker and you like to make things that fit you perfectly, sewing is the best way to do that and the most cost-effective way to do it. It's also a really good way to clothe your children without spending a fortune, and they don't all look the same. I've had this conversation with Wendy before where, you know, we'd go to playgroup or something and all the kids were in pumpkin patch clothes or Fred Bear clothes. They all looked the same. They all had the same outfits. My kids had clothes that I'd made or that my mum had made, and they were always dressed differently, always dressed beautifully, but dressed differently. And often when we go to church, I'd be asked, you know, where did I get whatever? Mum made Hannah a gorgeous winter coat one year out of gold corduroy, and she put brown velvet collar and cuffs, and it was so pretty. And everyone, we dressed her up and took her off to church, and she looked like a little doll. And she did. She was gorgeous. But everyone wanted to know where we got the coat. Well, I said, well, you know, Grandma made it for her. We still have it. It's still hanging in her wardrobe. But, it, you know, things like that, if that's important to you, sewing is worthwhile. And look, it's just satisfying, isn't it, to make something for yourself or for your children or for your husband or for your home and know that no one else has it. It's yours and yours alone. Yes. Look, there are, when it comes to buying fabrics, you've got Spotlight, you've got Lincraft to pretty much hold the market. But every now and then you'll find a little niche fabric shop. And if you find one, they are like a gift from heaven, because they will have different fabrics. They will have beautiful fabrics, and they might be a little bit more expensive, but the service is worth it. It's really good. And of course, if you're in a capital city, especially Melbourne or Sydney, that have loads of dressmaking factories and things like that, you will find fabric warehouses in the city. There used to be a really good one in Flinders Lane here in Melbourne. It closed down, but it was just absolutely 3 floors of just bolts of fabric, and you did have to search through them all to find what you wanted, but oh my goodness, they were great. It was wonderful. Okay, nothing else? No more questions? Is everyone still practicing saying no? No, no, no. We've done it. You're going to say no to spending too much on fabrics, no to spending too much on craft materials, no to spending too much on gifts. It's a good habit to get into. I lost my train of thought. Okay. So all that stuff behind me that you can see there on the dresser is all craft stuff. Ribbons, laces, washi tapes, stamp pads, stamps, all sorts of stuff up there, because this is, I've taken over the kitchen meals area for my craft room. I finally, after I've decided I want a craft room, this is it. I can spread out. So when we have card days here, this is where we spread out. We have the tables set up. Everyone has their own spot. They also come in and plonk at their own spot. And we just sit out here and make cards and talk and eat and drink and coffee and tea and cold water and whatever. And so instead of packing it up each month and getting it out again each month, I just leave it out now. And it's really good, because it means if I've got a spare 5 minutes or I feel like doing something, I can just sit down and it's all there and I do it all at once, which is something I've never had before. 30 years, I've never had anything like this. So I'm absolutely loving it and getting my craft mojo back. Yeah. All right. Okay. Hobbies. Wayne and I both have rather expensive hobbies. His is model trains, HO scale model trains. We could feed a small African nation with his trains. If we sold his trains, I'm sure we'd have enough to feed a small African nation. I particularly love sewn tapestry. So the canvases are expensive, the yarns are expensive, the frames are expensive. So I don't do a lot of it. But I tend to look for, again, the materials on sale, look online, join groups. If you have a particular hobby like tapestry or cross stitch or embroidery or patchwork, think about joining the guild. It will cost you in guild fees, your joining fee, but you get so much out of it that it's well worth doing. Even if it's just to keep your interest going in that particular hobby. I don't know what your hobby is, Christine, but yeah, Maureen. Maureen, you're going to become known as the quick rice patty lady. That's so cute. Okay, Christine wants to know, we have a special anniversary coming up and I would love to go out for dinner, but justifying this is difficult. Why? Okay, it's a one-off. It's a special thing. If you can save up the money to do it, then why shouldn't you? This is a special anniversary. We just had our 30th anniversary and we were in Tassie for that anniversary, which was our big trip, but we saved up for it. We knew it made it special. If it's, look, going out for dinner for a special occasion shouldn't be something you feel guilty about. If you save up the money for it, if you've got the money in your budget, if you can afford it, you shouldn't feel guilty about it. You should go and enjoy it and relax and enjoy the time. going out for dinner on Monday because you can't be bothered cooking, and then on Wednesday because Junior had football practice and it was late coming home, and then ordering pizza on Thursday because it was a busy day and you just didn't get anything done, and then on the weekend because it's the weekend and you deserve a break. That's the wrong sort of spending money on eating out, and that's what you shouldn't be doing. But if it's a special occasion and you can afford it or you've saved the money for it, go for it. Go somewhere really special and enjoy the evening, and happy anniversary. Yeah, old trains that they won't part with. Tell me about it. I have a house full of old trains. 40 years. Congratulations, Christine. 40 years is amazing. It is a long time. I bet it's gone by in the flash. When we were talking about 30 years, I swear it doesn't feel like 30 years. It just feels like our wedding was just a little while ago. And, you know, and we bought the house a little while ago, and we had the kids a little while ago, and yet they're all grown up now, and it's mind-boggling. So 40 years, congratulations. That's a wonderful anniversary. Look, go out for dinner and enjoy it. Have a ball. I think that's something to be proud of. 40 years in this day and age is amazing. Yeah. And don't worry about justifying the cost. Just enjoy it. Maureen's going to be, she keeps taking people the quick rice patties. She's going to be like the ladies in the supermarkets handing out samples. I can just see it now. We can set her up on the side of the road with quick rice patty samples from the Cheapskates Club. Yeah. All right. So, any more questions about anything else? Ask away. I'm here. I'm talking. You can see me. I'm just about to have a drink because I'm getting dry. No more questions? Everyone's happy? It's been nice and cool here today, so I've had the house open and I've dusted and vacuumed and fluffed around and done some website work and other stuff. Posted some things on Facebook, and it's just lovely. The heat's coming back tomorrow, so I think on Thursday we'll be doing something cool in the kitchen. We won't be doing anything hot. So Melissa's thinking of going to the Gold Coast for 2 weeks next February. She nearly booked. Okay. Do you have the money to pay for it? If you need to leave a deposit, do you have the money for the deposit, and will you be able to save the money to pay for it before you go? Will you be able to save your food budget, your entertainment, your travel, that sort of thing? When we're planning a trip, we choose where we want to go, and then we work out how much it's going to cost us to get there. So it'll either be fares or fuel. For us, it's usually fuel. Then we work out accommodation. Now, we're pretty much self-contained when it comes to camping. So if we can camp, we can bush camp, and that's free. But I like to go into a caravan park every 4 or 5 days for a real shower and a washing machine. So we take that into consideration. We have to take in national park fees into consideration. Our food, now most of it comes from home because we just eat what we normally eat at home anyway. But I do buy things like UHT milk to take with us, and what else do I have? Oh, wraps, extra wraps and stuff like that to take with us. So I think I have to plan for that too. If we work it out and we can afford it with all those costs, then we go. If we can't, we work out how much time we have to save up, and if we can save up, then we'll go. But if we can't, then we don't go. So if you work out your fares, your accommodation, your food, your entertainment, snacks and drinks, whatever, make a list of what is needed and what it's going to work out, what it's going to cost you. And if you can afford it, there is no reason why you shouldn't have a holiday. Living the cheapskates way doesn't mean that you have to give up everything. It just means we do things a different way. And for the most part, everything we do is planned and saved up for so that we can pay for it in cash. There's nothing nicer than going on holidays and splurging and not having to worry about the bill when you come home. And we splurge when we go away. 2 years ago, when we did our Central Australia trip, we splurged big time, and this was a bit of an accident, but we splurged big time. We have a little thing that when we stop in little out-of-the-way places, we try to buy something, always buy something to support the local store, to keep it open, because it keeps money in the local economy. But travellers need those little stores, and if travellers don't support them, then they close, and then when we need them, they're not there. So we either buy fuel or we'll buy a meal or something like that. So we didn't need fuel, so we decided it was nearly lunchtime, we'd go for lunch. And we went in and they had hamburgers and they had cheeseburgers. And I said to the fellow, what's on a hamburger? Meat. Okay. What's on a cheeseburger? Meat and cheese. Okay. And I said, can I have 2 hamburgers, please? And Wayne went, oh, I'll have a cheeseburger. I went, no, you won't. And he went, okay. Anyway, when we came out, he said, why couldn't I have a cheeseburger? I said, because he was charging us $5 extra for a slice of cheese. So I wasn't prepared to pay that. Didn't mind paying for the hamburger, but I wasn't going to pay $5 more for just a slice of cheese. And that was literally all it was on the bun was meat and a piece of cheese. I put the salad and the sauce on the hamburger. But we splurged, and I didn't have to worry about paying for it when we got home. So if you can do that, you enjoy it. It's so much nicer to know that you're not going to have a bill when you get home. It's a bit like the Own Your Christmas challenge. We own our Christmas. We sit back and relax when everyone else starts stressing and the mail comes in January. Cheapskates don't do that. Karen, you can't grow vegetables without insects. Insects are there. You can put the nets over them. Yeah, you can spray them, whatever. You can try companion planting, but as much as they're a pain in the neck, they're also a part of our world, and we can't get rid of them. We need them, and the plants need them. Now, I usually have marigolds next to the tomatoes. Bit of companion planting going on there. Bugs don't like the marigolds. You can try dusting your cabbages, cauliflowers, broccoli, that sort of thing, excuse me, with a little corn flour rather than cabbage moss powder. I've forgotten the name of it. Does the same job and will get rid of the slugs and snails. Crushed eggshells around plants will stop snails. Calcium, feeding your tomatoes and anything that flowers, so tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchinis, with calcium will make them nice and strong and sturdy, and helps keep the bugs, let me start again. That then helps the plant naturally fight the bugs. And that could be something as simple as when you've finished a milk bottle, topping it up with water and just pouring the water over the plants. And that will give them a nice boost. But otherwise, there's not much you can do. They are a pain, and it is very distressing to go out and find your garden decimated by bugs. I went out a few weeks ago and found the possums had got into mine and eaten everything off one particular tree. So that was a bit upsetting too. But we can't really do anything about it. I'm not a fan of strong chemicals and poisons, so I try to avoid them as much as I possibly can. Every now and then I will bite the bullet and buy some, but for the most part I don't. But you really can't do much about it. The other thing you can do, this is going to sound weird, but depending on what it is, I will sometimes plant extra knowing that I'm going to lose a certain percentage of whatever to cabbage moths or slugs or snails or possums or whatever it is. You can do that too. If you grow from seed, that's not so expensive and not such a big thing to do. Otherwise, there's the homemade white oil that you can spray on your trees and bushes. That will work for some bugs too. But they're there, unfortunately. If anyone can tell me how to get rid of ants in the backyard, I'd be most grateful. Our backyard is full of ants, absolutely infested with them. It doesn't matter where you walk, there's ants everywhere. I was attacked going out to the clothesline this morning, so they just seem to have taken over this summer. That's it. So, no more questions. No. All right then. Well, oh, no. Hi, Jameer. From Turkey. Oh, okay. Well, in that case, I'll let you go, and I'll see you on Thursday night making something cool. I have a couple of things in mind that I know you'll love, and they're really quick, really easy, really cheap, and really cool. So yeah. Oh, Rosalie, I have nets too over the plants, but it depends what they are. We have a massive apple tree in our front yard because where we live used to be all apple orchard. Massive, and I love that tree. Absolutely love it. It's so big, it shades the whole yard in winter and in summer, sorry, and in winter it lets the sun in. It's a gorgeous tree. This year it was absolutely laden with fruit, so full of fruit. And oh my goodness, we were fighting the cockies and the parrots. We're still fighting the parrots. The cockies have moved, thank goodness. Still fighting the parrots. Wayne netted some of it for me, but it's so big we couldn't net the whole tree. But at least the parrots only take little pecks out of the apples and don't drop them on the ground. The cockies come along and just pluck an apple off and drop it on the ground, and that's really annoying. Yeah. Yes, Jenny, watch the replay. It'll be up in a minute. See you all on Thursday. And thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and share if you like what you're seeing. And remember, when we get to 1,000 subscribers, we've got our fantastic draw coming up. Okay, I'll see you on Thursday. Bye.